One of the things that we are waiting on, of course, is the Supreme Court's impending decision on Obamacare. Are they going to throw it out outright, or are they going to piecemeal it? Joining me on the phone, Missouri's Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder was the first to file suit against the Obama administration for Obamacare. And, of course, he's waiting, just as we all are, to see what the Supreme Court does. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Dana, and thank you for having me back on a red-letter day when Claire McCaskill apparently needs to go back to the dictionary and read the definition of the word budget.
Well, and I found fascinating, especially when PolitiFact contradicts her, and members of her own party, from Barbara Boxer, Feinstein, Schumer, Reid, every one of them has already confirmed that they haven't passed a budget. So she went off her talking points, obviously.
She will regret that interview where she said they had. Everyone knows that it's been 1,100 days. For goodness sakes, Michael Jackson was alive the last time the Democrats
He was, in fact. He was alive. Well,
but on Obamacare, every morning, Dana, I'm waking up eager to get the decision, and it could come any day. It will not be later than a week from Friday. That's 8 business days from today, the 29th, because on the last day, the last business day of this month of June, the court then leaves and goes on their summer recess, and a lot of them go teach someplace or lecture, and they get some time off. So
right.
They have 9 more decisions, I'm told, to hand down. One of them is the Arizona immigration case, but the big one we're all waiting for, of course, is Obamacare, and I fully expect, Dana, for there to be a 5-4 decision striking it down as the unconstitutional monstrosity that it is. At the very least on the individual mandate that Missourians voted so overwhelmingly to oppose. But I'm also hopeful they will knock out the whole thing and send them back to do their work over again and do it right this time.
Right. How soon do you think we would get? I know you said that they have 9 other decisions to also hand down, including another controversial one, the Arizona one. But, I mean, do you anticipate this happening before the 4th of July?
Oh, absolutely. I think the latest day it might happen is next Friday, a week from Friday the 29th. Dana, court watchers who know the ins and outs more closely, a lot better than I do, tell me that the usual days for handing down decisions are Thursdays and Monday. So this Thursday, 2 days from today, could be the day, and Monday, 6 days from today could be the day, very likely, but it could be any day between now and next Friday.
Right.
But yes, it will be before the holiday.
And I know so many of us are just kind of, wringing our hands a little bit. We're trying to figure out or project or, try to see if the Supreme Court is going to just say that the individual mandate itself is unconstitutional and not really say anything else about the other components of the legislation, or if they're going to judge the legislation as a whole and say, you know what, the whole thing's tainted. We have to throw the entire law out. What are you leaning towards when you...
Well, Dana, I can't forecast the action of the court. I think the individual mandate is going down. I'm fairly confident in that result. I hope I'm not misleading anyone in my confidence, but I am. I've listened to all 7 or 8 hours of the oral argument in the Supreme Court, and it was abundantly clear that the swing justice, Justice Kennedy, joined the other conservatives, Scalia, Alito, Roberts, in their hostility to the individual mandate. And their acknowledgement, Dana, that this is something unprecedented in 230-something years of American history. We've never had a Congress and a president presume that they could, as Justice Kennedy asked the government lawyer, Mr. Verrilli, said, can you create a stream of commerce in order to regulate it?
Right. Well, exactly.
That was one loaded question right there, and I think it points to where Justice Kennedy's coming down. Mm-hmm. What I hope they don't do is just strike that down, because if they do that, they've left an even more unworkable monstrosity than what we have in Obamacare now.
Would that be, I mean, wouldn't that be, though, if they only took out one part of it and then after that, here's this, I'm sure they would have to figure out some other way to fund it, but wouldn't that be similar to them legislating from the bench? I mean, from my perspective, yeah.
And you're prescient there, because that exact issue came up and occupied a huge amount of the oral argument. Some of the judges and the lawyer for your side and my side, Paul Clement, probably the finest legal advocate of his generation, he made the point that if you don't knock it down root and branch and rip it out entirely, then you are effectively setting up the Supreme Court and other courts as a super legislature, because there were trade-offs in the passing of this bill as in any other, and one provision was able to be inserted because others were kept out or inserted. It's part of the natural legislative process, so that if you take out a provision as key as the individual mandate but leave the rest, you have rewritten the law as unelected judges, and that should not happen.
Right. Gosh, absolutely. Well, and I know that's the thing we're kind of waiting to see. When Democrats have tried to, I think they're anticipating something, at the very least, the individual mandate being struck down. And they're trying to suggest that somehow, if the Supreme Court rules against Obama and tosses any portion of this law out, that the American public's trust in the Supreme Court will erode. I think that it's the actual exact opposite, that the public's trust in the Supreme Court will erode if they uphold a law that still the majority of Americans didn't want, still don't want, never wanted.
I agree, Dana. And, our buddy Juan Williams wrote a column, I guess yesterday I saw the headline, in which he was focusing on the fact that the Democrats are already escalating and torquing up their attacks on the Supreme Court because they think they know they're going to lose this. Now, when the Supreme Court consistently ruled their way in the 50s, 60s, and 70s into the 80s, the left loved the Supreme Court. This is going to be a very useful corrective, and I think, and by the way, the Supreme Court enjoys much higher approval ratings than Congress, than a Congress led by Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And the funny thing is that the Supreme Court enjoys higher ratings than the Congress and mainstream media, the same media that's trying to push this talking point out there. Well, we'll definitely be watching this. And Lieutenant Governor, you've done a lot of great work and raised a lot of awareness on the unconstitutional aspect, the whole thing, the unconstitutionality of this entire law. And we also appreciate you being the first to file suit against it, because that helped push it along as well.
And the only one in Missouri,
yes,
in statewide office, who stood up to fight it. And Dana, whenever the decision comes down, I look forward to coming back on and visiting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely will have you back.
Thanks so much.
Maybe it'll be Friday.
Great work.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks. Take care. Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder there of Missouri.